Welcome to Robeson Design Studios DIY Wednesdays. I'm Grayson Darrow, and I want to show you something cool we just installed in our brand new office. Technically, I'm already showing it to you because it's right behind me. It's this living wall, which is actually just AstroTurf. To show you what you're going to need to build it is the lovely Shara Robeson. So we're going to be using this AstroTurf right here to cover this wall. It's going to be kind of like a living wall, but not living since it's AstroTurf. But you can see there's all kinds of stuff on this wall. I'm going to have to cut around this AC tube, all these different outlets, a little alarm, all kinds of stuff. And we're going up to the rafters, so I have to make a really accurate, detailed template first. Otherwise, it's going to be a nightmare cutting this out. To make my template, I'm going to use this cardboard. These are basically what painters use to just put down on job sites and stuff like that, so they don't scuff any expensive flooring. And these are great because they're extremely accurate. So the width and the height doesn't change piece to piece. And I'm just going to piece them together and cut them out one at a time and make one giant template. Let's get started. A lot of times you're going to have to cut around an outlet or a light switch. And here's an easy way to do that. Just draw the lines where you think the outlet goes to, and then just cut with your blade, fold it back, and then cut that piece off. It doesn't have to be perfect. Then take your next piece, butt it up against that, and do the same thing. Draw your lines, then cut across those lines, fold it back, and then cut that little piece off. Something else to note is that even though boxing tape is great for cardboard, this kind of cardboard doesn't seem to stick too well, so we use duct tape, and that seems to stick really well. So here's the completed template all the way across that entire wall, and you'll see we use this red duct tape. All right, so now that this entire template's made, I can flip over the grass, lay the template on the back, and then start cutting that out. I just want to point out here, as I'm taking down this template, a lot of it's kind of just falling apart, and don't worry about that if you have a giant template like this. You're going to have to lay it back out and just piece it back together. So take your time, make sure all those lines line up so you get all that hard work on your template. It gets to show through when you get to cut this thing out. Takes a little time, but it's definitely worth it. After it's all taped together, just line it up as best you can. I suggest using those factory cut edges for wherever you need a really straight line. I started with the bottom on mine, so you'll see later I trim off a little bit of the side. Now that I have this perfect template, I just need to stick it together. So I'm going to use these little 1/2-inch screws to screw from the cardboard through into the backing of the grass. Putting these little screws in as a simple fastener to just make sure that when I'm cutting this, that nothing moves and nothing's off. It's got to be just right. So then around this entire template, I'm going to be screwing in those little 1/2-inch screws all the way around the perimeter, about every foot or so, because I really don't want this thing to move when I'm cutting it. All right, now it's time to start cutting it out. So make sure you have a nice sharp X-Acto blade or a box knife, and have at it. A nice sharp blade will slide through this stuff like butter. So make sure to change your blades out as often as you need. So this piece was big enough, it took all three of us to hang it up there. Now I've got to play with the grass and kind of push it around all these little outlets and things. Then I took my 1-inch screws and I screwed them around the top, and then I moved from left to right. So the cardboard backing added great support, but in some areas it got in the way of these outlets a little bit. So I'm just going back in and cutting out areas I don't need, and then screwing it back on with those 1/2-inch screws. For some of the straight line areas, I'm definitely going to continue to use my template method and make those cardboard templates so that when I cut with my blade, everything lines up right. Right now I'm cutting the piece that's going to go next to that door. Then I hung it up with a screw, and I'm going to put a few more in and make sure this thing is snug to the wall. And hopefully you guys won't have little areas like this. I had to get a special tool just to hang this thing up. It was so skinny, and I had to get all the way back there by that cabinet. So we're going to use the pieces that we cut out to cover the outlets temporarily. Rebecca thought it'd be a good idea to just throw some Velcro on there. That way we can just stick them on and then pull them off as we need. All right, just one last outlet cover to go, but I thought I'd give the honors to Rebecca since this is her living wall idea. Hey Rebecca, why don't you come put this on?
That looks great. I love it, Grayson. Was it easy?
It wasn't easy, but it wasn't too hard either.
But I love this idea because originally we were going to faux finish these. That's awesome.
That looks cool.
Great
You
job.
have great ideas.
And you have awesome execution.
Thank you. Quick tip! If you have any of that leftover turf, you can use it as a really cool area rug. Rebecca had a couple great ideas for a runner for the kitchen and a little area rug for the bathroom. Here's how that runner looks in the kitchen.
That is perfect. That looks so good.
It looks really cool. It looks really fresh.
It does. And this whole room is about fresh. That's really fun.
Very fun.
Click the link below if you guys want to download our PDF to print out a step-by-step list of instructions on how Grayson put this together. You can also find out where to get all of these products just by clicking the different links on the blog. Wait, how are we supposed to start that? A lot of words. Thank you guys so much for watching our tutorial. Leave us a comment below and let us know what kind of DIY projects you'd like to see us tackle next. Don't forget to subscribe and thumbs up.